You ready to let the dogs out?
What? Do what?
From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
Join Pet Pals TV's Patty Spitler as we celebrate our furry friends.
Cats, dogs, and all the critters in your family.
Celebrate the bond between pets and people and meet Hoosier heroes saving four-legged lives.
I love it. Good. I'm glad.
It's the Positively Patty Podcast.
I can't wait anymore. Me neither.
Now, your host, here's Wish TV contributor Patty Spitler.
And coming up on the Positively Patty podcast today, we're talking bloodhounds and what you need to know if you think this is the breed for you. Kelly McPherson is our expert. She and her husband have had many bloodhounds over the years, and she's going to be talking with us today what you need to know, because this is not a dog for everybody. This is a challenging breed. Bloodhound won Best in Westminster first time in 146 years. Coming up, Kelly talking about bloodhounds. Stay tuned. And now welcome to the Positively Patty podcast with Kelly McPherson. And Kelly, we're going to talk to you today about bloodhounds. Why this is important is because the bloodhound, as far as records show, the first ever bloodhound to win Westminster in 146 years Best in Show. Yes. That's a big deal. Because a lot of people now see this wonderful dog and go, oh, I want a bloodhound. And Kelly is here to tell us this is not the dog for everybody. So let's talk, Kelly. How many bloodhounds have you had? You were just telling me.
I would say, I'm trying to remember, 8 or 9. We're up to, of all the ones we've had throughout the years, my husband and I combined.
Wow. And I went to your house several years ago. We did a story. When they were doing some search and rescue things with your bloodhounds, they were knocking over furniture. They were running into you. They don't see very well, but they do smell well.
They have a wonderful sense of smell, but when they put their head down, their wrinkles fall over their eyes, and they don't see well, and they just pretty much run into everything. I mean, they do it all the time in the home where they're familiar with, and they still run into things where they know it's at, but they just run into it. So, they're pretty clumsy.
But they're gorgeous, and I love when their ears fall down. Well, no wonder they can't see. Their ears are in their eyes, so they can't see.
They make for a great visor to cover their eyes when they're wanting to nap.
Oh, so, my goodness.
Yeah. They're very long.
And that's another thing to mention. Their ears... I have never had a bloodhound, but their ears can become infected too. I have the same thing with the Bernese. When when the flaps fall down, they tend to get more prone.
They'll get more if they get moisture in the ears. What can happen is they have extremely deep ear canals, and they can get yeast infections quite easily in their ears. So you got to stay on top of that. It's a rare bloodhound that doesn't get yeasty ears, so you just got to stay on top of it. I'm a groomer, and my dogs will still sometimes it'll just happen overnight. Warm weather, humid weather, whatever, it can happen.
My Stewie will get it too. I can feel when it's warm, and then he kind of itches it. And then, when the ears stand up, they don't get them as easily as when the ears flop down. Talk about some other things about bloodhounds. We mentioned their olfactory perfusions, and I was reading that it's 40 times what a human can smell. And they can do it for days on. They can smell something that's passed through.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's basically like a way that we always explain it to people is, when you walk in the room and somebody's cooking a pot of chili, you smell and you go, ooh, it smells like chili. The bloodhound walks into the room and they're like, oh, I smell chili powder, I smell onions, I smell garlic. They can separate it all out. Like their little brain cells are like a little computer chip, and everything gets documented. They can come up to you and sniff you and meet you one time, and 10 years later meet you again, and they will remember you by your scent. They never forget a scent, and so it's amazing.
Well, they won't forget me because I gave him a treat on set the other day.
Especially Gerard. He was really digging those treats, as you could tell.
Now, you mentioned they'd come to me 10 years later, but that would be rare because of their longevity. That's another drawback.
Unfortunately, we've known some that have lived longer like that, but ourselves, I want to say the oldest lived one we've had so far has been 8 or 9 years. When we lost one in summer of 2020, and he was 8, and he died of lymphoma, and then 3 months later lost another one to an obstruction, because they will pick up things and they'll eat things that they shouldn't, and unfortunately that's what happened. He was 7.5.
7.5. If you look it up on Wikipedia or whatever, it says 7.5 is.
But I mean,
pretty
some
average.
are longer lived than that. It's really just almost luck most of the time. No matter what you do, sometimes you just can't have them as long. And
I know.
It's unfortunate. And every time I say, why do I want to keep doing this to myself? But you met them. I mean,
know.
How
Well,
could I not?
I was just gonna, you probably
It's
heard
worth
this
it.
about the Bernese Mountain Dog. The Swiss have a saying, because Bern, they're originally from Bern, Switzerland, not Burmese, Bernese. And they say 1 to 3, young dog, 3 to 6, good dog, 6 to 9, old dog, after 9, gift from God.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it pretty much
absolutely.
applies to bloodhounds too.
Yes.
Now, let's say the reason that we're doing this today, not only because it's good to see Kelly again, but Kelly.
It's good to see you again, Patty.
Well, and your doggies too. When a dog wins, a breed wins an award like this, then people go, "Oh, that's what I want."
Yeah.
You discourage people from getting a bloodhound. Tell us
Very
about
much.
that.
Usually, we've had a lot of people contact us, get in contact with us, friends, give them our information or whatnot, and say these people are talking about getting a bloodhound, and I told them to talk to you. I say, okay, get a hold of them, invite them over to my house.
Let them see.
I do.
Let the dog run into
I
them.
say, are you ready?
Yeah.
Because this is real life. This isn't just how they are for, when they're misbehaving. They misbehave all the time for, most part. I like to have them doing their own thing, doing their free thinking, But usually after being around them, it's almost the main thing I think that throws people off immediately that are going to change their mind. It's usually the drool.
The slobber.
yes,
Oh, they
because-
slobber all the time, don't they?
It's a nonstop job keeping your house clean. I'm not joking. I mean, I could just work all weekend long cleaning the walls and the doors and the ceilings, and literally by the end of that week, everything's got dried slobber flicked on it, where they shook their head and just. It's nonstop.
It's nonstop.
It's at the point, when you've had this many bloodhounds that you're just like, hey, that's a good one, I mean, I actually took a video the other day of a slobber slinger that was hanging on the railing because I was so impressed by it, because the wind was blowing it and it's jiggling, and I'm like,
now that's art.
yeah, it's totally art. Yes,
art.
it's liquid love. My husband calls it.
Liquid love.
Yes.
Isn't that fun? I love my Stewie when he sees someone outside and I have a glass door, and we got slobber and all
Yes.
that nose stuff. I call it nose art.
No, it is
Yeah,
nose art
it's
too. We have
'cause he
that all over
blows
the
and-
back of my inside windows. Yes, but
Now, what about shedding? You talked about that too a little bit.
they shed a lot. People think. First of all, I think even myself, when I'd never met a bloodhound before I got into doing search and rescue, met my first bloodhound, she had a really short, smooth coat.
Yeah. You'd
And
think they wouldn't shed that
I
much.
didn't
'cause
think they
it's
shed
short.
that bad,
Yeah.
Then I got my first bloodhound from that was a rescue, and he was really woolly and thick at times, and then I started to meet more bloodhounds, and I'm realizing they do shed really bad.
Yeah.
They naturally they'll blow coat, in spring and in the fall.
Yeah, huskies
but a
do
lot
that
of them,
too.
a lot of them are just unless you leave them outdoors all the time, which I don't recommend.
No.
If you like having your yard and your fence and everything that you like outside, flowers, don't just leave them outside, or else they'll be busy and find something to do. But
And I also hear that we call it fur, but theirs is more like hair, is what I read. It's more like one
they have
strand
they're
at a time.
double coated, and but they will blow the outer coat also, like it. But when they're indoor dogs too, they're just going to shed year round.
You know what I always
depending
say?
on
Anytime
their
you get a
diet.
pet, unless I guess it's a Sphinx cat, you're going to have your hair and maybe an accident.
Unfortunately, it's just
that's life.
what you sign up for. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, so bloodhounds we're talking about specifically. Bloodhound won Westminster this past year.
Mm-hmm.
We're advocating and want to let people know that it's not the breed. Know your breed, not the breed for everybody. We mentioned some of the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Let's mention why you love them. Tell us the best part
my
about them.
gosh, why do I love them?
Big. They're big too.
They're big, sweet, lovable dummies, you know? I mean, they are. They're goofy, derpy dogs, and there's something that's very simple-minded about them that I just absolutely love. Now, people think that they're dumb, but I mean, they have dumb looks most of the time. Like, they're kind of doofy looking.
Well, they look like they're smiling. Maybe it's the slobber that makes them.
But they're actually pretty intelligent, you know, dogs. But they're if you can master training a bloodhound as far as obedience, you're like something in my book, because you have to really make it their, you know, idea when you train them. But they give back so much.
Aww.
You know,
they're so driven by instinct too, that when you're trying to train them, they're like, wait a minute, I know what I'm doing. I smell something, so I'm not going to pay attention to you.
I mean, once they figure out the game, they're so impressive. I mean, for instance, the other day, my niece Jordan was mowed the grass at my grooming shop.
Yeah.
And I was bathing the dogs, and when I was going to leave, Gerard about pulled me down, took off into the grass with his nose down, and he was pulling, and I thought, what, does he have to go to the bathroom? So then I realized he's running up and down where she mowed. He was tracking her where she mowed the grass.
But a mole? Was it a mole?
No, he was following her scent where she had walked up and down the grass when she was mowing the grass. So it, you know, was like, duh, you know, what is he doing? He's tracking somebody that he knows their scent. You know, he loves her, and that's what he was doing. But they're amazing. I mean, when we start them out at like 8 weeks old, they're just, it takes 1 or 2 quick little puppy trails before the light comes on. Now, maybe with Gerard, it took a few more, but he didn't end up liking the heat, so he does well I mean, and they're not just deer, or they're just not people trackers. I mean, they can be used. A lot of people use them for finding missing pets.
Right.
They're wonderful at that. I mean, you just teach them the game, and whatever you give them to smell, they're scent specific dogs, and they will look for that one specific scent.
Well, and realize too, this is an old breed, and they've got a very rich legacy, and you want to make sure you adhere to let them do what it is they've
absolutely
done. They've done all their history, so that's
not
that's
to
a
say
good
that
thing.
some aren't just wonderful house pet lap dogs. Some are, but anybody that goes into it thinking that they're going to have a dog like the hee-haw dog is going to be
forgot about the
sorely mistaken, and they're going to, those are the kind of people that end up contacting me and saying, you know, I have this, you know, like 18-month-old puppy, and he's just destroying my house, and he's possessive of treats and food, and it's because you have to be a real leader to the bloodhounds, or else they're very strong-willed.
They're very strong. They can weigh 80 to 160 pounds.
Oh, I've been pulled down and drugged face down.
Yeah, and if you need any indication of this, Hannah, our anchor on the weekend on Wish TV Daybreak, and she stood up, and which was the one that came over to her?
That was Malloy.
It came over and knocked her right down, and sat. He was a lap dog because he knocked her down on the floor, and then he sat on her lap, and
he
she
really
laughed.
liked her.
Yes, he really liked her. They're very wonderful, but again, know your breed, know what you're doing. Kelly McPherson, if someone would like to get a hold of me, I can then direct you to Kelly, and she can give you some ideas and hints about bloodhounds and what you need to know if you need some further information.
Yes.
Kelly, thank you so much for what you do.
Welcome.
And
Always a pleasure,
and your husband too. You work for Hancock County.
He works for the Hancock County Sheriff's Department. Yes.
Wonderful guy. Tell him I said hello.
I will.
Okay.
I will do that.
And tell your puppies I said hello.
I will. If you give me a hug, Gerard's going to know that smell, and he'll be checking me out when I get home. He'll know that I was hanging out with Patty.
Well, I'll have to give you a hug then.
Definitely.
Virtual hug and a real hug. Kelly McPherson, thank you so much for coming in, talking bloodhounds, and we appreciate everything that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And we'll be back with more, so we'll see you next time. Oh, and we'll be talking to you next time on Positively Patty Podcast.
Discover more pet-friendly stories at petpalstv.com and stay with Wish TV online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast and discover more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.